definitely instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourself. Touch your mother and out the bed.
In his rap song about this fight, Gomez wrote that Alvarez will have the taste of defeat. You're gonna taste it. Turns out Alvarez has a different idea or a different taste.
They have pretty similar styles. If there's a difference, it's the amount of focus on the body from Canelo Alvarez. He's a devoted body puncher. And unlike some fighters, Emmanuel, he will throw in combination to the body. He doesn't just throw a body shot at a time. Sometimes he'll put together 3- and 4-punch body shot combinations. That's work.
I think he's a very good all-around boxer. I mean, I look at his boxing techniques, his jab, his ability to control the distance, placement of his punches. Sometimes I think he holds his hands a little too wide where you can catch it between the gloves. But other than that, he's a pretty much very good balanced out fighter.
And when you look at that body, I think they've made a very intelligent decision as a group to keep him now at 154 pounds. There used to be talk of trying to win a welterweight championship. This kid is not a welterweight. He's a junior welterweight headed someday toward being a middleweight. They're chanting Canelo, Canelo. Incidentally, the word means cinema. An obvious reference to that thatch of hair.
Gomez looks like he has a real plan. We'll see whether it works.
Well, I like the fact that Canelo fights often. That's always been one of the guys out there. It's very important to have a fighter, especially a young fighter. How did he get, what was it, about 40-some fights already? I mean, he's been fighting often. And evidently wasn't big versus. And also, I like the fact that he boxes. I mean, even though he's a good puncher, he still uses a jab. He controls the distance. And he does a variety of things. He'll step back on a punch, he'll block it, and next time he'll roll underneath the punch.
But one of the flaws some people see in him is that he really doesn't use the jab to set up much. He's trying to here. That's good.
Emmanuel, the answer is 38 fights already. 37-0-1 at age 21.
Well, but with a very short amateur career.
Well, he had his professional career, amateur career, doing his professional career, which is very common of a lot of the Mexican fighters.
Not at all unusual for Mexican fighters to turn professional in their mid-teens. Remember, Marco Antonio Barrera turned professional at 16.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Plenty of them.
Plenty of them.
Now Canelo starts to get the jab going. And down goes Alfonso Gomez on a left hook.
Short.
Quick, short left hook. Great punch.
So much of the plans of mice and men.
He set it up with body shots, and then he brought the hammer.
Use your jab, use your jab. Use the back jab. Don't worry about it. In and out, in and out. Work that jab. Relax. Relax, nothing happened, nothing. Keep using your jab, relax. Just use your jab, in and out, in and out. And your right sharp, and bend your head under, in and out.
Here you see a very accurate punch coming from Canelo. Just accuracy and balance. And his ability to predict where his opponent's head will be when he's throwing a punch.
Exactly. Gomez walked right into that punch.
Gomez didn't do anything wrong.
It almost looked more like a jab than a hook to me.
It was more of a jab to me. But he has such great balance and such accuracy.
What does it do to you when you get knocked down by a jab?
It's very disgusting.
Miguel Cotto did that.
Embarrassing.
Miguel Cotto did that to Josh McCloskey at the end of round 1 in Madison Square Garden, and it turned out to be the difference in a very close fight.
Sugar Ray Leonard famously knocked down Benitez to win his championship with a jab. Don't see it very often.
round two. And I think, Larry, you were correct in saying that Gomez brought in a plan. But now he's down 2 points. And you heard his father in his corner saying, be patient, stick with it. Nothing happened. It sounded to me like don't abandon the plan.
The biggest weakness I see in Canelo, which is in quite a few fighters, he keeps his right hand too far to his right, and whenever he punches, any punch with his left hand, he draws his right hand to the side of his face, which means it's very easy to hit him through the center with a punch.
That's what happened to Roy Jones the night that Antonio Tarver knocked him under the ropes with a straight left-hand shot. His right hand was by the side of his face.
Actually, the punch that Tarver knocked, he started off with a moving left hand, and Roy put his hand to block it in some kind of way. Antonio lost his balance, and then the punch was sort of going around the top. It went through the center.
Perfect.
Yeah, but again, Gomez seems to be winning the first half of the round.
Good body shot by Gomez there. Two more good body shots for Gomez. He's been landing his jab in the early going.
He has a more active jab than does Alvarez.
There's one of those combinations I mentioned for Canelo Alvarez, often featuring more than one punch to the body. Again.
I say, Alvarez is going to the body, but if you look at the location of the cut on Gomez, it's going to be very difficult for Alvarez to hit him and do anything effective to his body. He's got one of his cuts extremely high. So if you do hit him with a good body punch, it's going to end up going right on the top of the cup.
You think that was deliberate? Because Alvarez is such a good body
known to be a good body puncher.
Is it legal? I guess it is.
Well, nobody's complained about it. But it's definitely a situation that should have been pointed out to the referee.
October 22, it's the premiere of the four-part series, 24/7 Pacquiao Marquez. Follow both men behind the scenes as they prepare for the third fight in their epic series. Following 24/7 that night, live boxing with the next Filipino sensation, Nonito Donaire, taking on Omar Narvaez. And don't forget, the HBO pay-per-view matchup between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, live on November 12th.
Fake him straight shots. And if he comes in, just keep your guard up. Don't be overconfident. Straight shots, short.
Well, you hear the emphasis on straight shots there, and I'm not surprised, Emmanuel, toward the end of round two, I felt Canelo Alvarez's punches were wandering to the outside.
Yeah, all to the outside, and both fighters are very difficult to land punches on the outside the way they hold their guards. Whoever would punch a side through the center, particularly up through the center, would be very effective in this fight. But so far, all of Alvarez's punches have been all to the outsides.
Harold Letterman gave the second round to Alfonso Gomez, which would have made it an even fight were it not for the knockdown at the end of round one.
Yeah, it's almost a freak knockdown, a legitimate, real one. But for that, Gomez would be up by 2 rounds.
Voy a llevar a mi comadre, ¿ok?
Watching Canelo Alvarez's punches in round two wandering wide, thinking of the grinning and the smiling and the slapping hands with fans as he came into the ring, I wonder if he has a cold focus tonight. Now he starts to behave more aggressively. Alfonso Gomez was quick to point out in our discussion with him yesterday that Saul Alvarez went down in the first round on a left hook from an undersized fighter, Jose Cotto, a natural 140-pounder, who was fighting Alvarez at 147. And a lot of people are going to point to that as a question mark as they get ready to fight Alvarez, because they'll try to build confidence off the fact that an undersized Jose Cotto, not Miguel Cotto, knocked Alvarez down.
It's like getting knocked down in prize fighting if you fought 35, 40 times is unusual in prize fights.
In other words, if you hadn't been knocked down by that time, yeah.
I mean, Oscar De La Hoya was knocked down twice in his first 7 or 8 fights.
And Canelo, I take to be a relatively high-contact fighter. This is a guy whose fights are going to be rough.
Yeah, so right now he's got a lot of good defensive skill, but I'm surprised that Gomez at this stage, to be honest, he's fighting a much better fight than I expected. And the fact is, you said, Larry, you gave the last round to him, and take the knockdown away from the first round, he might be up 2 rounds.
Well, Harold Letterman gave him the last round as well. And I think right now, Alvarez is a little bit bewildered by the timing and the activity of Alfonso Gomez.
And he hasn't found a way to effectively get to Gomez.
Good right hand by Gomez.
One thing is volume of punches is too low, meaning Alvarez.
Well, clearly he has done his homework.
Meaning Gomez.
Yes.
Yes, he has.
As well as his gym work.
Alvarez curiously inactive much of round 3, and Alfonso Gomez putting on a show in the last 30 seconds of that round. So it's an uncertain start for Canelo Alvarez in Los Angeles. Meanwhile, here in Las Vegas, we are calling the fight in Staples Center live from our perch here at the MGM Grand. Joe Cortez, referee for the main event, just gave instructions in Floyd Mayweather's dressing room.
Gotta be careful because when you're fighting on top, like you well know, head's gonna be closer. Be careful with the headbutt, all right?
Okay.
If there's accident the headbutt, you go to the scorecard after 4 complete rounds, it's fast, you stop.
Okay.
Okay? Don't hit your opponent while he's down, because if you hit him while he's down, it'll cost you points or you may be disqualified if you can't continue. Please don't hit your opponent while he's down. There's no saving by the bell in any round, including the last round. Chief Second, you have any questions?
No.
Go ahead,
No,
any questions?
okay.
Like I said, like the good clean fight, I want to keep the elbows nice. Okay? And I'm just going by what the other side's protesting about. I want to make sure we have a good clean fight.
Okay, no
I'm fair, but I'm firm. You know that. Okay?
Okay.
I think.
Round 4 begins in Staples Center, and you saw the byplay between Cortez and Mayweather. Based on the responses of Floyd Mayweather when he was around Joe Cortez, we surmise that he likes Cortez as a referee and is surely pleased with his assignment. Harold, how do you have it so far?
I've got 2 rounds to win. Alfonso Gomez, but in the points category, 28 to 28, so it's all even. Well, I think Canelo Alvarez did enough to win round 1. Gomez wasn't all that busy. He might have won it if he didn't get knocked down, but he did get knocked down, so Canelo gets a 10-8 round. Rounds 2 and 3, Canelo Alvarez just wasn't Canelo Alvarez. He couldn't get off. Gomez took it to him. Clearly won rounds 2 and 3 by staying low. Now look how low he stays and landing really well to the body. Larry, to answer your question about the cup, the inspector in the dressing room is supposed to make sure that the fighter's cup, the top of the cup, is even with the belly button. Anyway, 2 rounds to 1 Gomez, but even in points.
Spectre didn't do his job.
Correct.
Alvarez is mixing in uppercuts in this round. Looks as though he's decided that he can get up the middle by coming up and under against Gomez.
And I think that's what he's going to have to do. Gomez has his legs so far apart that it's going to be very hard for him to sustain a good combination of punches. But on the other side, Alvarez is waiting, he's rolling his shoulders, doing all of the things, but not punching enough. You need to return punches, particularly through the center. Upwards.
Gomez, the more active fighter. Gomez throwing more punches. Gomez landing at a reasonable enough rate. Alvarez clearly believes he's the stronger fighter as he stands against the ropes and invites Gomez in.
And Gomez seems to think, I can handle the power. I can take some chances.
Well, a primary